What's up guys, Luke here with Luke's Points and Miles, coming at you with a ton of answers for your questions. I had to make 2 long videos because you guys had great questions and hey, I aim to please. I'll get right to it because this video is going to be fairly long. Like and subscribe if you please. Now I really have no idea what order these are in, but I had to break them up in 2 videos like I said. So if you don't see your question here on this video, chances are it will be in the part 2, which should be coming out very soon. Vincent Pascal wants to buy his parents a first-class plane ticket, and he needs some advice on which airline to use. Vincent, I'll have to give you more than one because I don't know if we're talking about domestic or international or even which continent. So here goes. I might take some heat on this, but if we're talking about a transcontinental flight on a domestic airline, I'm not sure it matters. I took a first-class flight with American on a 777 from LAX to Miami, and I was completely amazed. Your folks would love that. Now, if it's international, you have so many different options. For some reason, I keep coming back to Singapore Airlines, Singapore Suites as the most aspirational in my opinion. Then there's ANA if we're talking about Japan. Now, any of the Middle Eastern carriers would be awesome. I want to ride Emirates from JFK to Milan next year, so I hope this helps. Isaac Mormon wants to know if I have any plans for my Chase Ultimate Rewards points from all the ink cards. He guesses Hyatt, and I did book an all-inclusive Hyatt in Mexico. It is, like I said, all-inclusive, and I got some kind of really big 1,200 square foot suite with like an ocean view and all the extras. Was not cheap points-wise, and I also don't think it was a crazy value as far as cents per point either. But the goal is to make a big time memory, and I will thank Chase for those great ink offers after I take the trip. And by the way, congrats on getting the Venture X. Donnie Cox says he's trying to purchase travel insurance for the year. Donnie, I'll be honest, the only time I purchase any kind of insurance is if I'm going overseas, and I only purchase it for the trip. I don't think I will ever purchase a general travel insurance package because, well, credit cards. Triton 113 wants to know if having the American Express Surpass card might affect American Express from offering him the 150,000 MR point platinum bonus. I know Amex used to save those big offers for new customers, but I don't think that's the case anymore. Those offers seem to be much more common for everyone. Either way, I don't wait for offers. I get the cards I want and I keep it moving. Stan the Credit Frog, elite channel member and fellow content creator. Check out his channel if you have not. He wants to know if I'd ever consider moving away from Ohio. Stan, I think about it every single day. I definitely want to live somewhere else if and when I retire, but at the moment, this job kind of keeps me anchored here in Ohio. If I could work from home or be some type of digital nomad, I would not be in Ohio unless my wife forced me to stay here. Most likely options for me would be Florida or somewhere in the Southwest. Arizona or Nevada, with Vegas being the most likely. I'm a big fight fan, so it would be really fun to go watch all the MMA fights and the boxing matches. If I could truly be nomadic, which is not an option, I could be anywhere at any time. Caribbean, Europe, Asia. I truly admire those that have that crazy freedom. Bobby Yakuzo, and Bobby, I'm sorry if I cut this question off and I get it wrong because I think he's asking about upgrading seats on the longer flights. Bobby, right now I'm in the group that thinks for domestic travel, I just want to get there. I don't think business and first class is worth it for domestic travel unless it's transcontinental, at least with the legacy carriers. Now international, yes, spring for the upgraded seats. Phoenix Fats, if you were to get a grocery store focused card, would you get the American Express Blue Cash Preferred, Blue Cash Every Day, or the Capital One Saver One card? Phoenix, right now, even though it goes against a lot of what I say and what I talk about, I would definitely get the Amex Blue Cash Preferred. That card right now prints money, or rather statement credit. But I would get that one just because it provides so much value for that fee. 6% on groceries would only be good for me for about half a year, but 6% on streaming and 3% on gas stations, plus all the credits, man, that card is way up there on my list, and I'm not even a cashback guy. Grin asks if he downgrades his Venture X to a Quicksilver, do the miles transfer into cashback? Man, that's a great question, and I'll bet Capital One doesn't even know the answer. My best answer is to transfer them out or use them up before you do that. That way you can mitigate any risk of losing them or things just not going your way. No way I downgrade that card with a bunch of miles in bank. Anthony Venture, who has a great channel in this space, check it out if you haven't. He says the 850 credit score club is great, but he wants to know if I'm part of the 1,000 pound club. Squat, bench, and deadlift combined. Well, Anthony, I'm not exactly lifting heavy and training like that anymore, but I could hit 1,000 pounds on my worst day. I think I did 1451 meet, but it's been quite a while. Marcus Young says, is there a way to get 2 Sapphire cards by applying the same day? First off, Marcus, I don't know if that's true or not, but no, I would not recommend trying. I can't really understand the point other than the bonuses, but there are so many good cards out there with great bonuses, why push your luck? Our favorite crypto bro, Keep Calm, Hodl On, asked if I've applied for Chase business cards with my personal SSN and not my EIN while being over 524. I've used one of 2 different EINs on all my Chase business apps, so no, I have not done that. Dean Grisham wants to know if there are any cards out there for other expenses. For those larger other category expenses, use a card that gets a sign-up bonus or use a card that has a nice perk for spend. For example, the Hilton Surpass free night certificate after $15,000 in spend, or the Chase World of Hyatt free night after $15,000 spend. Velmar asked if I'm willing to pay a bit extra for a room upgrade with all hotel chains. Velmar, no, not normally. It depends on the circumstance, but when I'm paying cash, I'm generally booking the cheapest room that makes sense. Now, if I'm using points, sometimes I'll go all the way up, but normally I'll book a standard room and then pray for an upgrade. PM wants to know his Uncle Luke's beverage of choice, just in case he makes it to the Vegas meetup. Well, in Vegas, I think it would be either some kind of really cool fruity cocktail, you know, something really expensive. But I really don't drink much anymore, but a few drinks in Vegas won't hurt, right? Jay Brown wants to know how fast is too fast for card applications. Jay, here's my opinion. If you can make the minimum spend to get the bonus and you're getting approved, then you're probably moving too slow. And I'm only half joking. If you're worried about keeping your credit limits high, that's not something I've ever worried about or even cared about. I generally get good to high limits and I have not slowed my velocity in years. Fernando Benitez Jr. wants to know my thoughts on the Venture X and Saver One duo. Fernando, I love it. I'm a big fan of the Capital One transfer partners, and I think for some folks, those 2 cards are all they will ever need. Justin Moore wants to know my thoughts on getting Staples fee-free gift cards with the Ink Cash to maximize non-bonus category spend. I think it's great. I just paid my property taxes with a bunch of $200 Visa debit cards. I think it comes down to how convenient you can make this. If it's easy to spend and you live near a Staples, go for it. Things like property taxes and insurance, I pay with Visa gift cards or a card that needs a minimum spend for a bonus. The Chase Ink Cash is a legend in the credit card game just for this. Another big strategy is for the Disney people. They love the Disney gift cards to sort of save up for their trips all year long and get 5 times back. Next one, what's your favorite destination south of the US and north of South America? That's a tough one because I'm not super well traveled there. I'll do you one better and I'll tell you to never go to an island called Guadeloupe. I almost got chopped up by a machete there when I was 18 years old. Fabio Creator wants to know a way to get his first business credit card without a hard pull on his personal credit report. Fabio, that's a great question, and I feel like there are folks that apply for business credit cards not using their personal credit and not using their social security number, but that's not something I'm an expert on. All my business cards are backed by my personal credit, so I'm sorry I don't have a better answer for you. Nahid Uder wants to know the best way to use Citi thank you points. He wants some examples of where to transfer. Well, Nahid, that's going to be an opinion, but I think Citi has some awesome transfer partners. I think for me, I'm looking at the list and there are so many heavy hitters on this list. The ones they have that aren't all that common are Turkish Miles and Smiles, and I think I might transfer some to Choice Hotels to book properties in Scandinavia. I also love Air France and Virgin Airlines. Justin Lee says he's looking for a good travel perks card. Justin, get comfortable and dive in, my man. We're in the golden age of great travel cards. Most folks would advise you to start with the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Billy wants to know the best way to use Chase points for domestic flights. Well, Billy, you can transfer to United or Southwest, or you can use the Chase Travel Portal. Both are pretty fair options. Hard to answer this question without knowing where you're flying from. Rylan Brown is active duty Army. Awesome, man. Thank you for your service. He needs a strategy to get max value because his annual fees are waived. Rylan, I would start with Chase and get every single card you want. If you're asking me, I'd get the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Freedom Flex, the Freedom Unlimited, and then check out the co-branded cards. After you go over 524, I'd get the American Express Platinum, the American Express Gold, the American Express Hilton Aspire card, and then I might think about taking a break. Just make sure you have a plan to downgrade or cancel some of those huge annual fee cards after you separate from active duty. Wes McFall wants to know when the Hawaii trip is and which airline and hotel I'll be using. Well, I'm flying American and it's in May. I'm also flying economy, so that should be interesting. We're staying at the Hilton Waikiki Village Resort. I was tempted to switch to the Hyatt Regency for the current status challenge, but the Hilton has 6 pools and I have a 6-year-old boy. Chad from Chad's Money Minutes, another big league creator, check him out, wants to know how 10,000 subscribers feels. Feels good, man. I am a bit overwhelmed and I just hope that out of all those 10,000 people, I hope we're all helping each other and I hope some folks are getting value out of what we do as creators. I love hearing about the trips and the redemptions and the different opinions on stuff. It's been a long, fun journey and I'm very interested to see where it goes from here. Okay guys, that was a long one. I'll make it quick. If you want to learn more about any of the cards we talked about or any of the cards out there, check out my card link in the description. If you've stayed around all the way to the end, I thank you and I appreciate every single one of you.